Welcome to today's Psych with Sigmund, where we delve into the fascinating world of psychology and explore concepts that shape our understanding of human thought, emotion, and behavior. Today, we're going to talk about the serial position effect, a fundamental concept in psychology that has significant implications for our understanding of human memory and cognition. So, what is the serial position effect? Simply put, it's the tendency for people to remember the first and last items in a series better than the items in the middle. This phenomenon was first discovered by German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus in the late 19th century, who found that when he tried to recall a list of words, he remembered the first and last words more easily than the ones in between. But why is this concept important in psychology? Well, the serial position effect tells us something fundamental about how our brains process information. It suggests that our brains are wired to prioritize certain types of information over others, and that we tend to pay more attention to the beginning and end of a series because they serve as anchor points for our memory. One major psychological theory that explains this concept is the primacy and recency effect. The primacy effect refers to the tendency for people to remember the first item in a series more easily than subsequent items, because it serves as a kind of anchor or reference point for our memory. The recency effect, on the other hand, refers to the tendency for people to remember the last item in a series more easily than previous items, because it's still fresh in their mind. Other psychological theories that contribute to our understanding of the serial position effect include the idea of working memory and the concept of chunking. Working memory refers to the ability to hold and manipulate information in our minds for a short period of time, and research suggests that our working memory capacity is limited, which can affect how well we remember items in a series. Chunking, on the other hand, refers to the tendency to break down information into smaller, more manageable units, which can help us remember complex information more easily. One classic study that demonstrates this concept is the von Restorff effect, which shows that when people are presented with a list of items that are all similar except for one distinctive item, they tend to remember the distinctive item more easily than the others. This suggests that our brains are wired to pay attention to novelty and distinctiveness, which can help us remember information more effectively. Another study that illustrates the serial position effect is the serial learning experiment, in which participants were asked to recall a list of words in order. The results showed that participants tended to remember the first and last words more easily than the ones in between, even when they were given multiple trials to practice recalling the list. So, how can understanding the serial position effect help us in our everyday lives? Well, for one thing, it can help us become better communicators. By structuring our messages in a way that takes advantage of the primacy and recency effect, we can make our points more memorable and persuasive. For example, if you're trying to convince someone of an argument, try starting with a strong opening statement and ending with a compelling conclusion. The serial position effect can also help us improve our learning and memory skills. By breaking down complex information into smaller chunks and using techniques like repetition and spaced rehearsal, we can overcome the limitations of our working memory and retain information more effectively. In therapeutic settings, the serial position effect can be used to help people overcome cognitive biases and improve their decision-making skills. For example, if someone is prone to making impulsive decisions based on limited information, a therapist might use techniques like anchoring or framing effects to help them consider alternative perspectives and make more informed choices. As we conclude today's episode, I want to leave you with a thought-provoking insight. The serial position effect reminds us that our brains are wired to prioritize certain types of information over others, and that by understanding how this effect works, we can take steps to improve our memory, learning, and communication skills. By recognizing the power of the primacy and recency effect, we can become more effective in our personal and professional lives. To illustrate this concept further, let's consider a real-world example. Imagine you're a teacher trying to help your students remember a list of historical dates. By using the primacy and recency effect to your advantage, you could start by introducing the most important date first and ending with another significant one. This way, your students are more likely to remember these key dates. Additionally, the serial position effect has implications for our understanding of cognitive biases, such as the availability heuristic bias, which refers to the tendency for people to overestimate the importance or likelihood of information that readily comes to mind. By recognizing how the serial position effect influences our perception and retention of information, we can become more aware of these biases and make more informed decisions. In conclusion, the serial position effect is a fundamental concept in psychology that has significant implications for our understanding of human memory and cognition. By understanding how this effect works, we can improve our communication skills, overcome cognitive biases, and become more effective in our personal and professional lives. Thanks for joining me on today's episode of Psych with Sigmund. If you want to learn more about the serial position effect and other fascinating topics in psychology, be sure to check out our website and social media channels. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, may your ego find balance between pleasure and reality.